Hey, what to do, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. So I'm super excited for today's video because I'm going to be working on a project that I probably started about the better part of a year ago. I'm going to be working on the shop crane today. Now, originally I started building this because I had these big grand endeavors to convert one of my Super 10 dump trucks to a rollback style tow truck. So I was going to put the cranes up there, lift the bed off of it, maybe go find a rollback somewhere or build my own. But things don't always go as planned, and I don't have either of my Super 10 dump trucks anymore. So the big shop crane kind of got put on the back burners, and the parts for these things, anything crane related, is always super expensive. So I've been slowly sourcing everything over the past year, just buying them as I can because they're not cheap, and it's not something that was like high on the priority list. But we do have a need for it now because the blue water truck that's parked out back, the runners that go underneath it are completely rotten, and like half of them aren't even there anymore. So we need to be able to lift the water tank up, replace those, and set the water tank back down. So I'm going to be working on a couple other projects today. You guys can see that I mounted a receiver hitch right here. That's because we're going to be working on the ultimate Igloo carrier. Thing turned out super rad. There's something on it that I really want to show you guys. The Get Muddy Ranch has an official logo, so I want to know what you guys think. And when you guys do see it in the video, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And I'm sure there's going to be some other stuff that we got in this video. I'm just working with my daughter up here today. We got a bunch of stuff we're doing, and hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's go ahead and jump on into it, and let's roll.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
All right, well, first up on the list, we got to do some work on the old Cub Cadet. She needs some new blades, and as you guys can tell, the back tire is a little bit on the flat side. My foam trick hack did not work, so I went down to Tractor Supply the other day, picked up some new blades. Gonna grab them out of my truck real quick and get those swapped out. All right, I actually, oh no, they sneak attacked me. Ooh, I gotta take those ones back. But yeah, at least I got one of the right sets. I guess you should always double check what you buy. At least they had one of the right sets. They were hanging right on top of each other, so I figured they were the same, but they are not.
Mr. Get Muddy Ranch in Igloo.
All right.
It'll say that on the sticker to let you know.
What's that?
It'll say Get Muddy Ranch in Cattle. That's what you'll find on the sticker.
Don't spoil the surprise.
I just give him a little hint. What's wrong with that? Yeah, I just said a few words. The only words that are on the sticker. They don't know it's on the sticker.
All right, so my GoPro decided to delete all the audio on a couple of the clips, so I'm going to do some narration right now. And right here, what we got coming up is I'm mounting a receiver to the bottom of my table so that if I ever need to build any hitch-mounted accessories, it'll make it a little bit easier. This is me welding it to the bottom of the table. Then my welder decided to run out of wire, so we're putting in some new 035 wire. This is me just fastening it. I'm going to be threading it through the gun. And then this is me talking about what kind of tie downs I want to use, locations, and things like that. And then on this part, I was talking about how the cooler could possibly bounce out if we were to hit a big bump or something like that. And then the audio decides to come back here for a second. So I went back and forth a couple of times on what I thought would look good as far as actual tie downs went. At first I thought of like a half circle. Then I thought maybe just like a 90-degree bend. Then I thought maybe 2 90 degrees. I couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do. So at first I tried like a half round. I didn't like it. And I think that I like just the 190-degree bend the most. So I'm almost done with all 6. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I'm doing it. Basically, I'm just clamping it down in the big vise over here. And then I'll start bending it a little bit. You guys can see all the old rust flaking off. Then I'll just start smacking it with a hammer till it's about 90 degrees. So I already have 4 of the bends made. I just need to do 2 more. Then my GoPro decided to just randomly delete the audio on 2 clips again. So this is just me smacking it to a 90-degree angle. Pretend you hear loud hammer noises. And then this is the actual tie downs welded and installed. They turned out pretty good. And then the audio comes back. All right, we're starting to get pretty close. I went ahead and got it primered. It's not 100% perfect, but neither is this carrier. So now I'm gonna go ahead and paint it black. Then we're done. Throw the logo on it. All right, well, I got pretty close. I was trying to get it all with just 2 cans because that's all I had. And there's a couple spots underneath that don't have like 100% coverage, but it's not the end of the world. If I'm ever feeling rich, I'll go buy a couple more cans and I'll flip it over and paint it from the bottom side. But turned out super rad. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry because it's still super sticky. I'm gonna go grab the 2 beams right now that we're gonna be throwing up on top right here. And so by the time we get back, I'm hoping that this is dry enough that I can go ahead and stick the Get Muddy logo on there. All right, before I head up, I better take a quick measurement, make sure I don't bring down some beams that are too short. So if they're at least 18 feet, they will work. All right, well, in the process of dragging this thing down here, I may have created some extra content or some extra work for myself. You guys can see that the 299 only has 1 fork on it now. I was dragging this thing from this beam right here, got a little bit sideways, and well, you guys can see that the bottom of the carriage right here got a little bit bent. The fork popped off, came off the top, so it is back up that way for now. I'll go grab it. I'll probably get that straightened out in this video. We'll see if I get to it. But I went ahead and dragged this big behemoth down here. So for any of you that might be wondering what this is something completely ridiculous that we built kind of back like in the earlier stages of the channel. I'll go ahead and put a link up there somewhere. Basically what we wanted to test with this is the angle that a skid steer would tip over. So we drove the skid steer up on here, strapped it to the front of that plate, and with the wheel loader, we lifted this entire assembly up until the skid steer started to tip back. Kind of ridiculous, but I have absolutely no need for this anymore. This was something that was built purely for entertainment. But anyhow, these beams are way longer than 18 feet. They're super stout. I think these are gonna work great for the shop crane. And we're just gonna nestle them right up there. I say that like it's easy. I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna do it yet, but we're gonna set one over there for now, and then we'll put the other one probably about here. So eventually I do want these beams to be able to slide back and forth all the way. We're gonna build like a little rail system on top of the beam so that the beam can go all the way to that side, and we can come all the way to this side if we need to. Like let's say we need 2 cranes right here, we'll be able to move them wherever we want. But for now, all I need to do is lift up that water tank. So we're gonna set the beams up there, and I'll probably just clamp them in place or bolt them or weld them. I'm not 100% sure, but they are gonna be stationary for the time being. So the next thing that I need to do is basically free all this up. I gotta cut that I-beam off, I gotta cut the steel plates off, and then we'll go ahead and drag those 2 beams into here, and we'll get them cut to length. And then getting them up there, that's gonna be the tricky part. But let me go ahead and get these things cut, and then we'll get them dragged in. All right, well, the paint's been sitting for probably about 2 hours. It's like a little bit tacky still, but I'm gonna go ahead and go for it because I wanna get moving on the next project. So this is the new sticker. I know it's really hard to see. It is a white sticker. So you guys will be able to see it real good once it's actually on the cargo rack thing. I hope it actually fits. It should, we'll see. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. If it's good, if you guys would recommend any changes. It is a little bit on the harder side to get off because the letters are kind of small, but overall I think it looks super, super rad. All right, well, she is 100% done. I think it turned out super rad. I'm just like super pleased with how it turned out. I think these little tie down points are gonna be super nice to have. All right, well, let's go ahead and give you guys a close up of this logo right here. You guys can see up top, we got the Get Muddy. Then we got a nice outline of a bull. We got some knives, and then we got ranching cattle down there. So I think this turned out super cool. Let me know what you guys think about it, if there's anything that you would change about it. One of the things that's like the most time consuming for me is in the handle. You guys can see it has those 3 cutout circles in there. I think they look super good, but they're kind of a pain to pick each one of those little circles out. So I think it looks better, but it's a lot of work. Let me know if you think those little cutout circles would make the design look worse or look better, because they're definitely a lot of work, but I think they look better like that. And it's something that I'm not like opposed to doing every time I make one of these stickers. So anyhow, this is 100% done. So I'm gonna take it over to the side shop. We're gonna stick the coolers in there to kind of consolidate space. Then we get to check this project off our list. I just am super happy with how this entire thing turned out. This is where it's gonna be hanging out until we actually go and use it. So I went ahead and dropped the coolers in there to kind of consolidate space. I don't know, maybe I'll put some like fishing tackle boxes right there, but the logo just looks super awesome. The tie downs turned out good. The paint job, and that's like the only thing that's like mediocre on this thing, but it's just rattled. It's gonna get dirty, it's gonna get banged up, it's gonna get scratched. When we actually went camping, we had bears like climbing on this thing, trying to get our coolers out, and so it is pretty tough. All right, well, let's see how far I can get. I got a serious attack of the ADD today. I just keep bouncing around all over the place. But I got my grinder out here. Basically, I need to cut this beam off of those two beams. I need to cut the welds off of those two plates. I'll probably cut that D-ring off. Not sure yet, but need to get all this separated, and then we'll go ahead and get these dragged into the shop. Well, I think that's about as far as we're gonna get today because the old Nikita, well, she's giving up the ghost a little bit. I don't think it's supposed to sound like that. Yeah, I think she's done. That is hot. I think she's done. I should probably get this thing unplugged before she explodes. What a sad day, because this is probably my favorite grinder by far. So yeah, I think I pushed her just a little bit too hard, but the beam is free. At least I think so. Yeah, so I got this one cut loose. We're gonna have to do those two tomorrow. So I'm just gonna do these tomorrow, and I'll probably either bring out the bigger grinder or maybe a cutting torch. I'm not sure yet. I don't really want to damage the top piece too much, so probably just go with a bigger grinder, but I am bummed out about that thing. That was my favorite grinder by far. Kind of a sad day. Anyhow, we will be back at it in the morning, and I'll see you guys then. So when I got home yesterday, I was super tired, and I sat in my Peterbilt for probably the better part of like 5 minutes enjoying the air conditioning because it was very, very hot, and I was just trying to figure out, do I want to go take a nap? Do I want to find the energy and actually get some work done? And so as I got out of my truck, I was walking to the shop. You guys can see this right here. I almost stepped on that guy. So that woke me up real fast. And when I walked out from the shop after it being dead for about 2 hours, they had already taken a pretty substantial amount out of it. So this is it being here for 1 day, and they've already almost picked this thing entirely clean. Those meat bees are just wild. So tomorrow morning, I'll go ahead and pick that thing up and throw it in the trash. Nature's just crazy. All right, so after yesterday's eventful day with the grinder, I went ahead and brought out a slightly larger grinder. Hopefully that one doesn't crap out on us. I am gonna plug this one back in. I'm just curious if it got like too hot, but I'm judging by the smoke and the bubbling that I heard going on inside of it, that is pretty much trash. Let's go ahead and get this little guy plugged in. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Okay. Yeah, she's done. All right, so the two plates on the back, this beam right here, they've all been cut loose. They're all free, so everything is separated now. But now it's time for the part of the video that I wish I didn't have to do, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and fix this carriage. You guys can see how it got puckered out right here. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that. So I'm gonna have to take this into the shop. We're gonna heat that up. We're gonna try and pound it back in smooth. And then I gotta bring the fork down from up there where it fell off, slide it back on, and then once that's all back together, we can go ahead and pick this stuff up and drag these two beams into the shop to get them cut to length. All right, so I got the 299 pulled in the shop. I'm gonna give you guys a quick little rundown of exactly what we got going on. So you guys can see that up top right here, it kind of mushroomed out a little bit. So we're gonna try and straighten these guys out as best we can. And then down here's where the real problem is. See how puckered out that is? We're gonna have to superheat this up, smash that back in. It's got a little bit of a bend right here from a past experience also, so we're gonna straighten that out, Gonna try and push that back in a little bit. Might do a little bit of welding up here, do some grinding, make this nice and straight and smooth so we have a nice clean rack for the forks to go back and forth. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up on a time lapse. We're gonna bring the torch over here, which already has the rosebud on it, which is perfect for this application. So I guess there's nothing left to it but to do it. All right, well, this thing is still scorching hot, but you guys can see that we got the fork on there. We're gonna go ahead and let that cool down, let it kind of regain some of its rigidity. Let's see, I bet if I spit on it, it's gonna bubble like crazy. Yep, that thing's still pretty hot. So while the 299's carriage is cooling down, I'm gonna go ahead and swap tips out because the beams that are on the ground out there are way, way too long. They're gonna need to be 16 feet, 5 inches to basically span from the outside of that beam to the outside of that beam. So we're gonna need this on the cutting torches instead of the rosebud. All right, here goes plate number 1, plate number 2. So I have a game plan in my head. I don't know if it's actually gonna work because I don't know if my forks go that high, but basically what I wanna do, I wanna come in a little bit sideways, rotate over, and then set it down. So we'll see if it works. If it doesn't, we're gonna have to get creative. So I thought cutting these beams was gonna be easy, and my torch was not cutting. And come to find out, we've got some problems internally. I had to call the pro over. He's dissecting the torch handles. So this guy right here is the main one where you have your, which one? I think this is, yeah. Got your acetylene, no, oxygen, and your acetylene on this side. When you open these up, you can hear it come through on this part. But on this guy right here, which is, do you know the technical term of that one?
The mixing chamber, cutting torch part, or the mixing chamber?
The mixing chamber. Anyhow, the mixing chamber is not doing what it's supposed to. Oxygen is not coming through out to the tip.
It's clogged. I don't know what would be causing that. I've never seen that before.
Darn. We're gonna have to put our thinking caps on or go buy a new torch, one of the two. I don't know how this happened, but somehow in that little orifice right there, or that little hole, I have a drill bit shoved in there right now. It was completely packed with like some sort of mud, like a little bug made its home in there. So we were able to get it cleaned out a little bit. Let's see if we can get any more to come out. Yeah, you guys see that right there? Look at that. It's like dirt.
Yeah, that's a bug.
Pretty wild. Bugs will make their home anywhere, I guess. That's insane. All right, I just successfully blew air through. That was a bug for sure. So if your torch isn't working, check for bugs, I guess. All right, let's see if it actually blows oxygen now. Close that guy out of the way.
There it is. There you go. So that's fine. It's some of the stuff's coming out of it. It's still in there. It'll go. Maybe we'll take the tip off and let it go blow out from there. So that all that dust is collecting in there.
Well, definitely not the straightest cut in the world, but that is a trippy looking design. All right, well now it's time for the fun part. We're gonna go ahead and recenter the 299 on that beam. We're gonna try and finagle our way in here. We're gonna go ahead and try and set it up on these two I-beams. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but before I do that, we're gonna play it safe. We're gonna move the expensive stuff out of the way. Losing a grinder is one thing. If we were to lose the 255, boy, you guys would see an angry James in this video. So we're gonna play it a little bit on the safe side, and we're gonna move it like well out of the way. So just in case something goes wrong, I don't have a very expensive mistake on my hand. And the first gen, we're gonna leave it there. Hopefully nothing happens to it. Everything else I think could probably withstand a beam falling on it, more or less. But let's go ahead and get this thing moved out of the way. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous right now. I'm a little bit hesitant to see how steady that beam's gonna be when we're lifting it up all the way and I'm trying to turn and rotate at the same time. But I guess the only thing left to do is give it a good old-fashioned heave-ho. I'm gonna set the camera up on a time lapse, and if it falls, it falls. If it's successful, we're successful. So let's go. All right, we're running into a little bit of an issue. The 299 does not quite go high enough. I need about another 10 inches, maybe 12, and then I think I can make it. So I'm just put my thinking cap on a little bit right now because, as you guys can see, I was trying to do a little bit of persuasion over there. Just wasn't quite happening. So if this beam was a little bit lighter, I'd probably try and manhandle it, but I think that beam probably weighs close to, I don't know, maybe 300 pounds, maybe 400. It's pretty heavy. All right, so I kind of have an idea. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this piece right here and wedge it as far into the corner as I can, because really it doesn't have to go up too much more just to sit on that ledge. And then once it's up there, I'm gonna come over here and I think I can lift up on this with my hands and try and set it on that top rail. We're gonna leave the 299 here the whole time just in case I do drop, so just in case something does fall, the 299 will be able to catch it.
Well, I missed the kick in the big game, failed my driving test, misspelled my ex-girlfriend's name on the tattoo on my chest, 'cause I can't do nothing right, and I can't seem to get along. I've forgotten what it looks like on the other side of wrong. Yeah, I picked a fight with a boxer, scratched her name till tall, gave a heart attack to the doctor, and lost my mama's dog. I hung the left on a red light, and lost my right to drive. Just show me to the shallow end, and I'm sure to die right in, 'cause I can't do nothing right, and I can't seem to get along. Oh, I've forgotten what it looks like on the other side of wrong.
We got a couple things going for us. That one was super sketch putting it up there. There's different levels of sketch. We're trying to figure out if this is more sketchy. We needed like an extra 12 inches of clearance so we didn't have to do any of the funny tilting that we did up there. So we got these sweet forklift extensions. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, what could go wrong with 500 pounds of forklift extension?
Yeah.
At least if it all comes crashing down, it's catastrophic versus like, I don't want to lose just a limb. I'd rather we just go out, you know?
Yeah. I'm hoping that I'm out of the way when this happens. So the ideal scenario is that it just
that
goes up
plexiglass
nicely.
will protect me. We're good.
Oh yeah, that's tough stuff.
I'm going through the back wall of the shop if things start going.
That's fine.
Just so you know.
I want a new shop anyways.
All right, perfect.
Dude, this looks so goofy. Oh boy. Don't do this at home. Oh yeah. Why not? All right. Go for it. Go that way a little bit. Okay. Go up. Tilt forward a little bit. Okay, up. Stop. Go up. See, worked pretty good.
That was way less sketchy than the last one.
Dude, that was awesome, was bad. All right, well, huge thanks to Ryan for coming over and helping. Made life a lot easier, but as you guys can see, we have the second beam now in place. There's the first one over there. I'm actually gonna go ahead and slide this one back a little bit. So I went back and measured the water tank on the truck, and it's about 15 feet long. So I'm gonna go ahead and spread the beams at about probably 13 feet on center. So that way it gives me 1 foot from each side of the tank to go ahead and wrap it with straps and pick it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide this one back, and then from there, I'm just gonna clamp it in place for now. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys the push beam trolleys and the cranes that I have. All right, I'm gonna try and do this a little on the quick side. So basically we have from Harbor Freight, the 2-ton push beam trolleys. So for a lot of stuff, I think Harbor Freight's okay. There's a couple things that I'm like, you should probably go ahead and spend the extra money on. One of those is being an actual chain hoist. So these are made by Jet. They're a little bit on the pricier side, and that's why this is pretty much stood still for the better part of a year. I got a pretty good deal on one, and then I waited like another 6 months until I could get another good deal on another one. So I have 2 of them now. I'm only gonna install one of them tonight because I got a couple things that I gotta wrap up. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one opened up. I'm gonna show you guys everything that's in there. Then we'll get one of these opened up, and I'm gonna put it on this front beam right there. All right, let's go ahead and get this guy dumped out. Might be worth noticing, these are rated for 4,000 pounds, so they're a little bit heavier duty than the chain hoist that I picked up. So I figure like 4,000 pounds Harbor Freight is probably the equivalent to 1.5 tons of the Jet chain hoist. So anyways, you have 2 of these. These are actually what are gonna roll on the beam. Then you have this gnarly center bolt or center pin. Then you have this guy right here. And then this is gonna hang from the center. And I'll put it all together and then I'll show you guys it up on the beam real quick. Go ahead and take off this castle nut. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, baby. All right. Take this fat stack of washers off. Take this spacer off. Then we'll go ahead and drop this down over. Put this back on there. We'll go ahead and set these on there for now. So the reason they have so many washers is because there are different widths of I-beam. So I'm hoping this is gonna be good enough to span that distance. It should be. I haven't really checked yet, but we're gonna go ahead and start figuring this out. This one ended up being 6 washers on this side, 6 washers on this side, and basically you just put whatever's left over onto the outside, tighten them down till they're pretty snug. And this is a castle nut right here, so then you just put your cotter pin through, and that way these can't back out. It'll never change. And now we have a nice rolling push beam trolley. All right, so the next box, I'm hoping this one's a lot easier. I'm hoping it's just open it up and hang it up there and be done with it. But let's go ahead and get this thing opened up and see what we're looking at inside. All right. And get this guy cut open. Certificate of test. That's probably important. Check this out. Test capacity 4,950. That's not bad. That's pretty heavy duty. That's definitely more than 1.5 tons. But let's see what we got here. Plastic, more plastic, bubble wrap. Oh, okay. Pretty black hook. I shouldn't have done that. Let me move the ladder over real quick. Put this guy down. All right, I am super excited for this. I wanted to do this for a very long time. It's like a year coming. This is very hard to do one-handed. See if I can do it. Ow! Almost could do it one-handed, but this little guy was pinching me pretty bad. So let's see. How does this guy work? Oh yeah. Pretty neato. All right, well, the shop crane is officially installed, and as you guys can see, it's a pretty slow go bringing this hookup. But you guys, I'm super excited. I've always wanted one of these. This is gonna make loading heavy stuff into the back of my truck super, super easy. And then once I am 100% done with these, so I'm super excited about this. This is gonna make lifting up heavy stuff to put in the back of my truck way easier. It's gonna be really, really cool when these beams up here slide this way. That's my next project to figure out. I'm gonna have to build some sort of rail system up there so they can actually slide back in. But that's a project for another day. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up because it's starting to get dark outside. And putting the other one up, now that I know the correct washer spacing, will be super easy. So I'll just crank out the other one tomorrow. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the screws this video. I wanna give a huge thanks to Ryan for coming over and helping me out. I could have never done that by myself. But huge step in the right direction. The next thing we're gonna be doing is probably taking that table out of here and bringing the old blue water truck in here. As I'm looking at this, I'm kind of getting nervous. I hope this goes high enough. The water tank on the blue truck is pretty high. I hope I didn't just do all this work for nothing, but that's no problem for another day. Thank you guys for watching. If you do me a huge solid, like, subscribe, share this with your amigos, hit that notification button down below so you guys can continue to see whatever else we got going on, and I'll see you guys next time. Later. Well, I hope you guys can forgive me. I'm a dirty, filthy liar. I went ahead and installed this one since I knew the spacing. It only took me like 10 minutes. So super exciting. Got both cranes up. But for reals this time, this is the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time. Later.